Good morning, everyone. How you been? I had taken down a video that I had put up because I didn't care for a comment on it, but I was just trying to help people manage their money for cheap meals. I will redo it in a simpler fashion for those that are interested. But I don't believe I'll be letting anyone put comments on that one. We all know every state has their own food prices and economic problems and issues. There's more important things going on in this government that we need to discuss. Believe it or not, and this is my opinion, my speculations, and what I'm seeing in the past week alone. The government wants your freedom. Oh yeah, we've been hearing about that for a long time, and we have to fight for our freedoms. But we don't have people in Congress fighting to keep our freedoms. In fact, it's got to where I don't even want to vote anymore because the politicians, they're only out to get that pay scale. They're out to protect their own. See, it occurred to me the government wants us to be codependent on them. The working class, they're paying higher taxes and have less money for food than the EBT recipients. To me, when the government puts all that force on the working class to pay the bills for the poor people, and they're not using the tax money in an efficient way. I mean, they're always giving themselves a raise, but they don't think about what the poor people really need, like good medical care and the right to buy food effortlessly. Oh yeah, there is some out there, I'll get on that in a little bit, that's on the EBT system that is hurting the rest of the people that are honest, that are using the EBT system. See, to me it's socialism when the working class pays for the non-working class. And now you have workers who cannot afford to go to the doctor due to the co-pays. And them co-pays were raised so that they were double because we were sharing the co-pay money to pay for the Medicaid patients. They don't pay co-pays. So, since there's less working class going to the doctors because they don't want to be paying, most of them don't have the money to pay the co-pays. Let's get that right out there. The doctors are taking less Medicaid patients because when they have more Medicaid patients than they have co-pay patients, they're losing money. The food banks are getting less donations in food because the working class have to feed their own. What little bit of money they have after they pay their taxes, their house payment, their car payment, their health insurance premiums, we pay them, plus our co-pays, and any emergencies that we would have because we don't have government help for those things, and getting a tax credit for childcare isn't going to cover the whole year of all them things we've been paying into. So, yeah, when it comes to donating to food banks, they're seeing a lot less donations now. So, some food banks are asking the government to help them out, to keep the food banks open. So, it shouldn't be any surprise there is less EBT stamps being issued out, and that they are regulating the EBT recipients. That should not surprise anyone. In different states, you have different amounts of what your state says you qualify. And yes, everyone is an individual. You have certain expenses other people don't have. So you might be getting more EBT that way. The government has decided that you will work 80 hours a month, which is about 20 hours a week, or be in a job training program. Now, I do know if you're going to school for a trade, that counts too. They don't want people buying energy drinks, sugar drinks, zero sugar drinks, a bakery, junk food like chocolate, potato chips, candy, to help the government afford to continue to feed people. And with a lot of part-time workers replacing full-time workers, because companies are hiring less people as full-time now, then part-time workers can qualify also for food stamps. And it might only be a little bit, but it's a little bit that helps them. The generalized figures that I have seen, I'm not experienced in being a food stamp recipient, EBT recipient, but they're saying 2 people should get 400, and 4 people, a family of 4, basically 800. That's a month. It used to be $134 a person. So I don't know what it is for a single person, but I've seen low numbers where it's been under $100. And, and you're a retiree, it's kind of hard to only have $100 to feed yourself a month. But like they're saying, if you want them sugary products or them certain salty products, you are going to have to pay for it out of your own money. Whatever the government gives you in a check, or that'll come out of it. It'll be just like buying toilet paper or paper towels, them things. Now, I know for a fact that in many states, like mine, it has been federal law since Obama to work for your benefits. It has also been the law to report total household income within 30 days. And that means all checks from all parties living in your house, your senior parent, your husband, your partner, your teenage workers, etc. Your child might even have a paper route. All that is counted. They're going to see what you're getting on welfare. They're going to see what you're getting on child support, your disability checks, your retirement checks. They're going to ask you what you have in your savings account. They're going to ask you about royalties, CDs, bonds. Do you have any of them? And they're going to ask about gifts and income from social media channels. And it'll be a 1099, just like they ask about your self-employment. What are you making a month? Which you usually have a business license or to make that money that supports you. And you go through the state for that. And then on top of that, they're going to ask you what you own. All right? The agencies are currently making recipients pay them back that didn't report all their income. And I'm going to tell you, our government knows everything about us. We have a paper trail on us. They've got a file stacked that they can prove to you that you lied to them. They give you a list of things that I named off to you. And if any of those things apply and you don't tell them, you've committed a fraud. They do have payment programs, though, for you to pay them back. I'm also going to suggest start keeping your receipts to prove you spent your EBT card on food. Because there's a lot of people out there that sell the excess food stamps they've been getting. So now they're going to start asking every 6 months for your receipts. So I'd be keeping my receipts when I go to the grocery store if I was you and I was receiving an EBT card. Your EBT card has a number that's on that receipt. And you're going to have to prove what you did with the money that the government's given you. I just want you to be aware, because if you can qualify for food stamps, go for it. Anything that helps you, go for it, but be honest about it. Okay, because, you know, the government always comes collecting taxes from the working class first, and then takes back from the poor second. They can raise our taxes, and next thing I know, they're making cuts to the system for you. Be aware of that. Because they are shoving socialism down our throats before they joined the Commonwealth. And you may not be aware of that. We may have already, in fact, in this month or two that's passed, joined the Commonwealth Charter. The Commonwealth Charter, if you don't know what it is a 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's a charter or a commitment for democracy and free elections, human rights and equality for the poor and the working class. Has nothing to do with the elites. It's the rules of the global law and good governance. It's a sustainable development and environmental protection plan. And they want to get it into an international peace and security globally. In my opinion, it's a multifaceted elite philosophy where you own nothing and are expected to enjoy life with less to have more. So what are some of these? Well, I'll just give them all to you. The Sustainable Development um, project. Let's call it a project, but it's in the charter. Sorry, I need to get some water. Humidity is so high, it's like you're breathing water. It's supposed to be 93 here today with the heat index, 91 without it, but the humidity's going to square that away. Okay. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, a lot of people call them the Sdg'S, started in Wales. And it has to do with a one world government. And that's been an agenda for 1,000 years anyway. But it starts with joining the Commonwealth. Okay. So the first one, everyone's going to make the same wage. You know, y'all going to get the same amount of money a month. You know, I'm not talking about the elites. Just leave them out of this registry. And your food's going to be rationed. Sort of like back in World War I and II, you know, you had rationing stamps. And you're only going to be able to buy a certain amount of each type of foods. It's about your health and well-being. You're going to get the health care that AI determines your medical issues, things like that. If they say you got to get an injection for something, you have to get that injection. Or they will find ways on any of these. If you don't comply, you'll be penalized. The education to thrive is thriving in a certain lifestyle that they deemed you should have. Then you got gender equality. We all know what that's about. And also water rationing. That way they got time to clean up the water, the rivers, the oceans, the environmental stuff, okay? And clean energy, which means electricity, the use of electricity, okay? Every job that you work, you will volunteer a certain amount of hours and you won't be getting paid for them. So if you're working 20 hours and they say you got to work 10 more hours that week and it's considered volunteering for your community, you're not getting paid for it because it's volunteer. But the thing is, you'll be expected to do it to keep your job. So where's the volunteer in that, right? All homes will have to be upgraded to total electricity, I guess. Some of these rental places do need upgraded. Some of them aren't fit to live in. And of course, according to your state, can your state afford to do them upgrades for low income? Are they going to come in and say, well, your house ain't fit to live in? You know, they're start plowing this place down. You know, because they're all about 15-minute cities, the metro cities, moving people into a metro city area where everything is right there near them, or a 15-minute city where from your house you can only go 15 minutes. And there has really been a lot of rules that are coming out now about that. I'll go over a few that I come across. They're constantly going to police inequalities. They can survey you and see what you're doing, what you own, everything. You know, they can even see inside your homes. They want to know what's what. Okay? They want you to have responsible consumption of products. That means the things you're buying, like vehicles, household products, your furniture, you're all going to be living the same. You're going to have access, if you follow the rules, to the right products that they will allow you to buy. And that's a social crediting to keep you in a line. That has nothing to do with the free choice of marketing. You're not going to see that. They're going to control every one of our climate controls. Like, they're going to tell you what you can set your air conditioner on. They're going to tell you what you can set your heat on. Things like that. They're going to control your ocean life, how much you can fish, how much you can use a boat, if you're allowed to use a boat, blah, blah, blah. The rivers and lakes on land, it'll be the same thing. There's going to be more police hired to ensure peace and security. And AI will come into effect for that, to monitor the citizens of the world. And their last one is the partnership plan to get all countries on board for global peace. So, one of the things I wanted to mention was, in this agenda, yes, I read a lot. I read everything. I want to know how it's going to affect me and my family. But the one thing is, on buying products, like I said, your food will be rationed, your water usage will be rationed, and like your TV time will be rationed. But they're saying you can only buy 3 outfits a year. I think that's a little bit extreme, especially if you have children still in school. So, it's all coming together as a one world government. Of course, that's my opinion, and everything I say on YouTube is my opinion. Okay? But I want to have the information out there for those who need to research it and form their own opinion. I want to spark an interest in what we're getting into so we can prepare down the road. Like, if you got a yard, you need to put in a garden. If you're shopping extreme meats, you need to cut back. Find other protein foods. If you're going to stock up on foods, I'm going to say right now, buy protein foods. That keeps you the healthiest. No matter your age, as you get older, you need more protein, not less. Start walking more places. Because they take your cars away and they say, okay, well, you're in this city and we only use bikes and walking as a way to get around. And Phoenix, Arizona, hello, I know about you. Look it up, people. Look it up. It is a 15-minute city. And they're proud of it. If you're going to own a vehicle, get right outside the city limits. You never know. You never know. There's so many options that you'll have to figure out on your own by your needs. You got to buffer what's coming any way you can. But please look at it in the right perspective. Give it some thought. Think on that today. Have a great day. I'll be back later. Bye-bye. Love you.